to use. So please, those that are standing behind and or even sitting behind are welcome to occupy the seats up in front. Those that come later then can easily slip in and not disturb anybody else. So thank you. If you can shift to the forward seats, that would be nice. And it is not our intention to hog the show by talking endlessly. We would like to have comments from the audience, even questions. And I'm known to talk too much, but I will desist. Professionally, I have some of that weakness. But however, you are welcome to direct questions and involve the others in the panel. Let me begin with a wee quotation from a poet by name Kamala Das. Kamala Das writes thus, and she did in the year 1997. Some of you may be familiar with her work. This is what she says. Let me quote. I am Indian, very brown, born in Malabar. I speak 3 languages, write in 2, dream in 1. Don't write in English, they said. English is not your mother tongue. Why not leave me alone? Critics, friends, visiting cousins, every one of you. Why not? Let me speak in any language I like. The language I speak becomes mine. Its distortions, its queernesses, all mine, mine alone. It is half English, half Indian. Funny perhaps, but it is honest. It is as human as I am human. Don't you see? It voices my joys, my longings, my hopes, and it is useful to me. Kamala Das. So this Dravidian poet and writer touches on a key idea, Indian, yes, but she touches on a key idea. I'd like to perhaps ask and consider, would this, what she writes, apply among writers and poets in this country, in Lanka? But before we move into that, answer or comment on that, is there a phenomenon to be recognized as broken English? And I'll start with the academic. Sure. Okay, thank you, Arlo. So there were certain questions that were sent to us to look at in this discussion, and looking at the topic, I felt there were certain key terms there that need a little bit of clarification and kind of even definition. So these terms, broken English is there, Sri Lankan English is there, and then also we are supposed to talk in Singlish as well. So these 3 areas I thought maybe we need to be clear on exactly what these terms are and how they came about and how actually the phenomenon itself has come about. So if I may starting going way back to how the language came to our country, we all know that the British, when they colonized our country, brought English with them, and then from that time onwards, that's from 1815 onwards, English has been here, the language of the colonizer. It did not happen only in Sri Lanka, it did happen in many other countries where the British colonized, and there onwards, English has been spreading throughout the world, through colonization, through imperialism, and now through trade, communication, education, and also, most importantly, the World Wide Web is establishing English as a lingua franca, a common language, throughout the world. So then, so we have English that was spoken by the British as the native mother tongue, going into different countries. And today we have second language learners speaking, or people using English as a second language. There are more speakers of second language almost the same as the first language. Now if you think of Sinhala, we can't even imagine such a situation where Sinhala is being spoken outside Sri Lanka by some. Of course it happens with Tamil, but in English there is a huge number of people speaking English as a second language. So in many countries we have English which came from Britain, but now it got established, got nativized,
in the particular countries, and there is a variety that is spoken. The English that is spoken in each of these different countries, bringing in a flavor of the languages that are spoken in those different countries. So if I take Sri Lanka, we have the locals speaking English, and of course all of us have our mother tongue, either Sinhala or Tamil, and it has made a great influence on the type of English that we speak. This is not only in Sri Lanka, this is happening everywhere, because wherever English went to, there was a language or languages that are spoken by the people of that land. So the variety that is spoken in that particular land becomes, it's not the kind of English that came to that country, but it has changed in different.
So what you're saying is there is something called perhaps an Indian English or a Chinese English or a Singapore English.
That's right, Arun. So if you think about it, we have all these different Englishers. Today we speak of Englishers, world Englishers. So it's an accepted concept or a phenomena also that English has changed, and in different countries that we speak English with our own influence from our own mother tongue. So therefore the language changes. How does it change? It changes with the vocabulary mainly, right? So the vocabulary, the Sri Lankan word, the Sinhalese words, the Tamil words have now crept into it. Actually English has so many borrowings from so many different languages right now in the current world situation. So we have the vocabulary, and of course you know that the pronunciation. One of the main things that differentiates Englishers, as it were, is the pronunciation. The English we speak will be very different from the English that the Indians speak. So we have Indian English with that variety of that pronunciation. Pronunciation, how does this different pronunciation come about? From the pronunciation that we have as when we use our mother tongue. So obviously we are used to speaking about I speak Sinhalese, so my English is definitely colored or influenced heavily by the Sinhala that I have spoken from the time I was a baby. So we have this concept of Englishers, right? So we have Sri Lankan English, and when it comes to, okay, now I come to the other tongue. Okay, how do we learn a language as children? If we look at our mother tongue, Sinhala or Tamil or English, when we start speaking, we don't one day, when we are born, we don't speak a language, we don't speak a single word, we just cry. Okay, so then do we suddenly, after some time, suddenly start speaking in English or in Sinhala? No, we don't. We start making sounds. Then we start saying a single word, then two words, then a sentence. That's how it goes. In any language, at any stage, we have to go through those stages, those steps. So learning language is like being on a continuum. There is the target at the end, right? I don't know whether we have reached that target. Maybe some of us, I don't know. I wouldn't say I have reached the target language. I would say I have more to go on this journey. So all of us are at different points in Sinhala. Formally I learned Sinhala till my O-levels. After that, my A-levels in BA, MA, after that it was in English. So academically I stopped learning Sinhala, but of course I use Sinhala for various other purposes. The deeper purposes that I need to use Sinhala for. To go to a shop to buy whatever I want, right? Maybe sometimes just call people. So that kind of thing I'm really good in because I'm doing it and I'm using it. But so we are different, on this continuum I would say there are different points in the different languages that we speak. Maybe Sinhala, maybe Tamil, maybe English, maybe French. I started learning French and German. That was only when I was doing my BA, and that was the end of it. Other than once when I went to Germany, when I used it a little bit, I realized, okay, I still know it, but I don't use it. So that is on the continuum I would say I've gone back. So we are at different points. So different people are at different points on this continuum. To give a language term to it actually, this point at the very beginning, more towards the beginning rather than towards the end, is called interlanguage, which I think we are calling broken English. So that is a phenomenon, that's a biological process that we have to go through, and we have to go through, everybody will have to go through that. So then we have to consider, should we look at it as a stigmatized variety or something to look down upon or to laugh at.
Okay, thanks. Lots of ideas came up there. But one is that acclimatization seems to be one of the methods of learning, and so what you hear, you pick up, as they say. And interestingly, you use the term target. That means you have what you consider to be the ideal standard, or somebody should have, because you're using the term target. That's interesting. Amarkirti has an interesting story to tell, but we'll get to that in a moment. Somebody, when seeking directions to this location, used the term Grahaloka Gare Isarapita, which was not understood. Planetarium Eka Isarha was understood far clearer. And we heard in the announcement just now, main entrance Eka. So those are realities. By the way, some of you that are still insisting on standing, may I invite you to occupy? There is water on the chair. May we invite a wiper thereof, and then to sit. Yeah, I'll leave that task with you. May I come to Deepa? You've obviously gone into this area by virtue of your signaling business, and I'd like you, if you possibly can, to comment on this idea, whether there is a stigma, and from whence does that come?
As a person who has come from rural background, and I started speaking English only in 1980 when I started work. I think for some reason I didn't know that I didn't know. So as a result, I kept on talking. Until I went to advertising, then I realized that absolutely people are not understanding what I say. And I think still there's some fear. I always tell students when I go and speak to student audiences, I always say,